Hello, and welcome to another video. Today, as has become tradition on this channel, let's close out Phyrexia All Will Be One by building one last sealed deck from 6 of my remaining draft boosters. Let's get started. Our first rare is Tyranax Rex. 4 green, green, green for an 8/8 creature, Phyrexian dinosaur, mythic rare. This spell can't be countered. Trample, ward 4, haste. Toxic 4. The second rare is Mirix. Land, sphere, rare. Tap, add colorless. Tap, add 1 mana of any color. Activate only if Mirix entered the battlefield this turn. 3 tap, create a 1/1 colorless Phyrexian Might artifact creature token with Toxic 1, and this creature can't block. We have a foil, Luca Bound to Ruin. 2 red, hybrid Phyrexian red-green, green. For a 5 loyalty, legendary planeswalker, Luca. Completed. +1. Add red-green. Spend this mana only to cast creature spells, or activate abilities of creatures. -1. Create a 3/3 green Phyrexian Beast creature token with Toxic 1. -4. Luca deals X damage divided as you choose among any number of target creatures and or planeswalkers, where X is the greatest power among creatures you controlled as you activated this ability. And then we have an evolved Spinoderm in the borderless Ichor treatment. 2 green green for a 5/5 creature, Phyrexian Beast, rare. Evolved Spinoderm enters the battlefield with 4 oil counters on it. Evolved Spinoderm has trample as long as it has 2 or fewer oil counters on it. Otherwise, it has hexproof. At the beginning of your upkeep, remove an oil counter from Evolved Spinoderm. Then, if it has no oil counters on it, sacrifice it. The next rare is Norn's Wellspring. 1 white for an artifact, rare. Whenever a creature you control dies, scry 1 and put an oil counter on Norn's Wellspring. 1 tap, remove 2 oil counters from Norn's Wellspring. Draw a card. The next rare is Green Sun's Twilight. X green for a sorcery, rare. Reveal the top X+1 cards of your library. Choose a creature card and or a land card from among them. Put those cards into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. If X is 5 or more, instead put the chosen cards onto the battlefield or into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. last rare is Razorverge Thicket. Land rare. Razorverge Thicket enters the battlefield tapped, unless you control 2 or fewer other lands. Tap, add green or white. So just looking at the rares, we're very green leaning here, which I suppose is good news for Tyrannax Rex, because I think we would need to be pretty heavily slanted towards green before we could consider playing this card. It is quite expensive at 7 mana, but I think we could still pull it off in sealed. I am definitely looking at Evolved Spinoderm and Luca. So just at first glance here, I think I would like if we could build into green-red, and I think that's a favorable color pair to be in anyway. But let's go ahead and look at what we have in every color. Okay. So we do have some pretty okay stuff in white, but let's take a look at blue. All right. I don't think I would feel too bad about cutting blue here. Let's take a look at black. We have some alright black, but overall, maybe not too compelling. Let's look at the red. Got some stuff in there. Let's move on to green. Yeah, definitely some stuff I think we could play in there. And let's take a look at the artifacts. All right. So I think I'm going to start with green red and just lay out the cards that we have and see what that looks like. So that's 17. Oh yeah. Forgot about Green Sun's Twilight. Not sure how I feel about this card, but I would at least playtest it and then determine if I wanted to keep it in. We're a little bit light on creatures. I guess viral spawning can kind of count as a creature. I definitely don't want to stretch into a third color, but let's see what we have in colorless. That at least helps with some fixing. Still need a few more cards though. How are people feeling about Ribskiff? I don't know if I've actually been in a situation where I ran this card. It might be okay though, like especially with some of these artifacts where they definitely would just lose combat. Maybe they would be a little bit more useful driving our boat. And I think anything with higher power and toughness could be really useful for us. It also draws a card when we cast it, so I could probably be convinced that this would be worth playing. Okay, so that's 23. And we do have two pretty expensive cards. I guess we could toss the Hunter Maze in there. I'd be a little concerned about it being slow, but since this is sealed, maybe not so much. And then we have Mirrex as well. I've never played this card either. I'm a little wary about it only adding colorless, but getting to add any color the turn that it comes into play I think is really nice. And I could definitely see the last ability being pretty useful for pumping out a 1/1 each turn, maybe to break a stalemate or push us over the edge at the end of the game. So yeah, let's add in some basic lands and then I can shuffle up and draw a few practice hands. Alright, so I definitely don't think this is a keepable hand. So this is a bit better. It's a little light on land. But to mulligan, I think it would be between Luca being our most expensive card and Maze's Mantle, since it's kind of just a combat trick. I really don't want to throw away Luca, but I also don't want to just get stuck with it and not be able to cast it. We have to draw at least 2 more land to be able to cast it for its completed cost. And then, assuming our Mirrex is out by then, one of them will definitely have to be a mountain. Unfortunately, for that reason, I think I'm going to prioritize the card that we're at least most likely to be able to cast. We already have a forest, so the next land that we draw into is going to be able to cast Maze's Mantle. So yeah, unfortunately, I think we're going to have to throw Luca on the bottom. All right. Ooh, so we did not hit a land. I will roll out Mirrex then, and unfortunately we lose the ability to produce any color of mana off of it. So the Furnace Punisher gets a little bit more difficult to cast now. Maybe we attack, I don't know. Okay. So maybe we can viral spawning, which would increment this. Cool. We draw into another land, so yeah. All right. That's tough. I'm almost tempted to keep it because of the guarantee of the red mana, but absolutely no way that we would be able to cast anything for quite a while, so not going to keep this one. Okay. So I think Paladin of Predation is the obvious mulligan here. Mm. Yeah. So everything costs 4, and we still need to draw land to be able to do that. But at least next turn we will have our Contagious Vorak. Yeah. So wow. So we definitely want to take the mountain. All right. So yeah, then I think we're probably attacking and then rolling out the Evolved Spinoderm, since we get a 5/5 for just 4 mana, and it will be hexproof. So yeah. Let's try one more maybe. We've got some familiar faces here. But yeah, we could probably keep this. Ooh. Cool. So we do have an interesting decision here where if we're able to attack and get the 2 poison counters onto our opponent, it might actually be in our best interest to proliferate here with the Contagious Vorak rather than take a land. We could certainly use the land. Maybe having 2 3-power creatures is enough of a threat to kind of hold us over until we're able to draw into our next land. So yeah, it kind of depends. We also do have access to a fight spell, which is really nice, and we can afford to do it. So I would still certainly cast it. Right? So I guess that kind of makes our decision for us. So yeah. Oh yeah. So yeah, we would have attacked with that first, played this in our second main, and then hopefully the opponent has 3 poison counters on them now. Or they blocked this and it died. Ugh. Yeah, so we do have a little bit of removal if they have an artifact, or enchantment, or creature with flying. We have our fight spell. Yeah. But that will do it for today. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Go ahead and leave a comment with your thoughts, whether it's on the sealed pool that we opened, the way I built it, or maybe even your experience with Phyrexia All Will Be One sealed, and I would be happy to talk about it with you. I know I'm really excited to get into March of the Machine, and I hope you are too. I'll have videos with that set coming out starting next week. And yeah, I can't wait to dive in and get to explore a brand new set. If you're going out to a pre-release, then I hope you have so much fun, and I'm wishing you the best of luck. Let me know about all the cool cards that you open, and the cards that you're most excited to play in the new set. Of course, please make sure you subscribe if you haven't already, and join me back here every Monday and Friday for new Magic the Gathering ASMR videos. Thank you so much for being here, and I really appreciate your support. I hope you have a wonderful day.